I know I'm not the only mom who likes to hide away. Hey, it's Ereena George, and welcome to my closet, aka Mommy's Closet. Come on in. It's a place for us to get away and discuss the things moms love to talk about, whether it's health, relationships, these kids, our spouses. This is where we come to talk our shit. Be sure to join my Facebook group, Be Momific with Ereena George. It's where we can continue the conversation outside of this podcast so that I can hear what you think and how you feel on the topic. Thank you so much for joining the show. Today, I am super excited because we have a great topic that we are discussing today, and we have a great guest. I was so looking forward to her being on this podcast. You guys, she is so upbeat. She knows her shit. Like, she is on it. So I'm super excited about having her on. Today, we are going to be talking about why we choose the wrong person when it comes to relationships. But before we get into that, I want Miss Pink to go ahead and kind of talk about who she is and what it is that she does.
So I am Miss Jennifer Pink, as you said. I am a transformational mommy growth coach. I help mommies grow through their ish, but since we're on this podcast and we can keep it real, grow through their shit.
Yes.
That's what I help mommies do. And I help them reconnect with the woman that they are, because we are more than just so-and-so's mommy. Like, we are a woman and we need to get in touch with her.
Absolutely. And I love that because we kind of do the same type of work. And I'm glad that you said that we're not just moms, because once you become a mom, you get so used to hearing mommy, mommy, ma. Even your husband or your spouse starts calling you ma. Like, you lose your name. So it's really, really important as a mother for you to kind of regain who you are. And there are times when you can just say, can you please stop calling me ma? Like, I have a name. I'm a person. I'm here, you know? So I'm excited about your work. And so let's just jump right into the topic. Why do we choose the wrong person to have in our life? Why do you think we choose the type of person that you are going to attract to yourself? So yes, if you don't know any better, you can't do any better, right? Yes. So I thought about this topic because I know for a lot of women who are mothers, sometimes there is a point of desperation there for you to get a spouse and to have a male figure in the home and to have someone around your children who can help you raise them and be that father figure. But a lot of times, we're not really kind of looking at the attributes of this person. We're just allowing this person into our household, and we don't even know if they're going to be a good addition to our household. We don't even know if they're going to be a good stepfather or a good husband. It's just we're looking for that family, and a lot of us don't take the time to really flush people out, to be quite honest. We're not doing background checks. We're not doing none of that shit. We are just trying to get someone in our home and be in a relationship with them so that we can fake being happy.
As a single mom for 12 years, I've been there. I've done that. Tried it. Didn't work so well. So I had to learn something new. And the main thing I had to learn was me.
Yes. Know thyself. Know thyself is one of the most important things we can do as women before we even become moms. Knowing thyself is super important, because if you know thyself, then you know what you will deal with and what you will not deal with when it comes to choosing the spouse for you, or choosing the potential father for your children, or choosing the potential stepfather for your children. Because guess what? We all fucking make mistakes, right? The person that may have gotten you pregnant may not be your forever person.
I was just going to say that I totally agree. And I think that a lot of times as women, we end up having babies by the wrong men, and men who are not going to be our husbands, or who shouldn't have been our husbands, because we don't take the time to learn ourselves first. Like, we spend so much time making our reality look like our picture in our mind that we don't even realize who we are. We kind of do what we're told to do. You grow up, you either go to college or you start working, and then you start a family, and then that's it. Well, when did you learn who you were? And I like, you and I both will repeat that over and over again. Learn who you are, learn thyself, because it's literally the key to every single problem. You know what I mean? It's like what you said, we attract who we are. And I think that the problem is that we don't want to admit that. Because if I admit that I'm attracting who I am, and I keep attracting losers, deadbeats, hustlers, no good men, then I have to admit that I'm no good, right? And that just is way too scary. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't have high self-worth, if you don't have high self-worth, if you don't have, a sense of self on any level, if you don't even love yourself, like if you don't love yourself, how can you possibly attract somebody who will love you? Because you don't even know what it is to love you. And that's just really the basis of it all. And then, as parents, we say we want this, great father figure for our children, because our children need fathers, our children need examples, but our children need us too. And if we don't even know who we are, then how can we teach them to be something? Because we don't even know it. And it just really boils down to being that simple.
Absolutely. And another thing that just to add on to that, when you talk about knowing thyself, it's too much work, right? That is the easy way out. Like, you know what? It is so much work to actually get to know who you are as a person. I know, because I went through it. It is a process of you having to go super deep in order for you to really get back to the kind of like the source of who you are, and then work through all of the bullshit that you've been taught, all of the shit you've seen, and get back to who you are, that person that you've always been. And it's a lot. It takes a lot to do that. And a lot of women, not for nothing, men too, but since this is a mommy show, a lot of women do not want to do that. And like you said, a lot of us do not want to face the fact that we've made some fucked up choices. Because on the outside, we look great. Everyone thinks that we're that strong woman. We're successful. We've been taking care of ourselves and our children without issue. But when we go to bed at night and we're in the home, we're alone. And we have to deal with that fact of being alone. But we will continue to be alone if we do not deal with our own trauma and our own issues that we have. And we like to push it to the side. Like, yeah, it's not me. And you hear this a lot when relationships break up. It's like, oh, he was this and he was that and he did this and I was too nice and I gave him everything. I would say about 95% of the women refuse to acknowledge the part that they played in the relationship falling apart. Because if I were to acknowledge the part that I played, then I have to fix that shit, right? And some of us don't want to fix it. Just want to fix it. We just want to continue going on and blaming everyone else for the issues that we're having.
And that's why we keep having.
Yep. That's exactly why we keep having the same issues. And I say this, if you choose someone to be in your life and that person that you choose to be in your life, winds up being the fuck up, right? Not so decent person. If he winds up being the fuck up, and it's one time, right? You know what? Shame on you. Let's go ahead and work on what we need to work on. But if it happens 2 times and 3 times and even 4 times, it's like, okay, the great equalizer here is you. You can't keep telling me that your relationships are not working out. Your relationships are just not working out. He this. And not kind of point that finger at yourself. Because at some point, I'm going to start looking at you and say, what's going on with you? Number one, why do you keep attracting the same type of men? And number 2, why aren't you taking any responsibility for the shit that goes on in your relationship?
Exactly. As you know, when I coach single moms, because that's the only time we really get to talk about dating, right? Because if you're married, I hope we're not talking about dating. But when I coach single moms, and a lot of times I do coaching on dating, like how to date, because for some reason we are like, I don't even know how to do it anymore. I don't know, go outside maybe. But anyway, I always say, if you are conversing with him and you're talking with him about his life, and he doesn't talk about what he's learned from his past, that is a red flag. So it's the same thing for us. If we're conversing and we're talking about our life and we're talking about the men we've dated, the situations we've been in, the jobs we had, and nothing you can tell me is about you, we have a problem. Because there's only one person that you can change in life, and that is yourself. So if you're so focused on what they did, what he did, how they treated you, how he treated you, if you are more focused on your mama and daddy than you are yourself, we have a problem. And it just becomes that simple. Like I've coached single moms and they want to give me a 3-hour dissertation about how horrible their child's father is. And I'm like, okay, he might be all that, but what can we do about it? And they're like, well, nothing. So then why are we still giving it energy? Absolutely. How about we just focus on what we can do, what we can fix, and it's so crazy because, I tell them all the time, I can teach you how to co-parent with somebody who doesn't even want to talk to you. And they're like, how can you do that? How can you change him? I'm not going to change him. I'm going to change you.
Yes. And it's so funny because when you are coaching moms, right? Even when you're coaching single women or single parents, that is the kind of like the number one thing that they want to get. It's like, how can you make him a better person? What can we do so he can be better? Like, what are we going to do with him? Because we always think that if something's going on, it's outwardly. It's not us. It can't be us. It cannot be us. But the reason why we don't feel like it's us, because there have been generations of women that have come before us that have done the exact same things. And we think that it's normal. So, like the women that you coach, if their mom, did the same thing, they're going to say, okay, of course it's not me, because this is what I learned from my mom and this is what I saw. So if you have generations of women who are broken, generations of women who cannot manage to stay in relationships, and if they do manage to stay in relationships, the relationships are not healthy. If you've seen that your whole life, at some point you're going to understand and believe that that's just normal, right? That's just normal. You have women who get into relationships with men who don't even like their kids, but they will stay in the relationship with that man because that man is taking care of the household.
Right. I've seen women destroy great relationships for the same reason. And I always say, this is like my number one thing, because people always say like, oh, like what's a life coach? Like I have friends and I have family. 95% of the time, your friends and family think how you do. And how's that working out for you? Mm-hmm. Like you're still in the same place doing the same things. And I always say, look at your mother. If your mother is not living the life that you want to live, why are you listening to her? Why are you doing what she's doing? Like, how much sense does that make? And I remember when I got pregnant for the first time and, I was going to be a single mom, I had cousins tell me, oh, well, he's got to pay to play. And remember, this isn't a petting zoo. And they were just like, focused on making sure I got money out of him. And it's interesting because I took a second and I looked at their lives. Yes, they were not struggling financially. They had no financial struggles that I knew of, right? But they also didn't have a man in their life. Their children didn't have active relationships with their fathers. Mm-hmm. And is that what I wanted? I'd rather struggle financially. This is just me. I'm no diss to anybody if you choose something different. I'd rather struggle financially. If I had to choose, I'd rather struggle financially and my child grow up with a father in their life so that we can start to change some of the thoughts and patterns that happen when you don't have both your parents, than to be able to buy my kid whatever they want when they want, but they don't have an active father. Like, if I had to choose, I would choose an active father every day, all day. And so, although that irritated a lot of my family, and it irritated, let's just keep it 100, my mother, it irritated, people that loved me and cared about me, because they're like, you're not going after him, and you're not forcing him to take care of his responsibilities. I was like, no, I'm not. But we have open communication. Mm-hmm. It's not the best. When it first started, it wasn't the best because we had a whole lot of issues and drama that we needed to let go of and grow about. But now, 13 years later, we have great communication, to the point now where he co-parents with my husband on a regular basis. They have conversations weekly about my child.
And that
would, the door for that would have never been opened if I had been like, oh no, you need to run me my money or don't call me.
Absolutely. And I think it's really interesting. You said that even your mom was saying to you that you need to go after him. Like, you need to make him take care of his responsibilities. How did you feel about that? Was it different? Like, was it different because your mom didn't understand your standpoint or your viewpoint, and she was really telling you, like, this is what you need to do?
And, my mom was a single mom, and she struggled, and my grandparents had to pick up the slack. So I completely understand her thought process in, I don't want you to struggle like I struggled, so I need you to make sure that he's giving you money.
I get it. And I definitely understand that. And from a viewpoint as a parent, you're right. Like, I would never want to see my kids struggle, whether it's my son or my daughter. I never want to see them struggle. But I also, as you stated, I also don't want to see them unhappy. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed the show. For more information about myself, Ereena George, or the Momific Group, be sure to check us out on our website, www.momific.life. That's momific.life. You can also like us on Facebook at the Momific Group. See you next time.